Border encounters are down for September, a continuation of new lows for the Biden administration, but only since that executive action. The Border Patrol is seeing a staffing issue right now. A Department of Homeland Security survey finding that 88% of border stations reported being understaffed. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is seeking to improve recruitment, hiring, and retention. And then there's the retirements, the impending retirements of border agents in the next 4 years. Let's bring in Terrell County, Texas Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland, who we've spoken with many, many times. You've worked as a Border Patrol agent. Did you see numbers go up at the border of those agents, even as millions and millions of people crossed illegally? Did they shift staffing at any point over the past 3 years?
Well, first of all, howdy, Adrienne. Good to be back on with you, and appreciate y'all having me back. So as we see traffic increase at different portions of the border, we employ, or Border Patrol employs, is what we call a lift and shift. We'll detail people from other areas of the border to those areas being heavier impacted. So we see that. But when we talk about hiring more agents, we just haven't been able to keep up with attrition. And a large part of that is due to retirements. When I came in the Border Patrol back in '96, the Border Patrol was about 4,000 Border Patrol agents total. And then once I retired, we were pushing 22,000. I know under this last 4 years, I remember seeing an article where there was about a 25% loss of Border Patrol agents under this administration. So I can tell you what's been going on has definitely impacted not just morale, but has pushed people to go ahead and turn in their paperwork to retire.
I mean, you can imagine why. They essentially just have to let people in. There's no real detention of anyone who crosses the border. I was just talking with one of our friends who's on quite often from Texas DPS, and he was saying that essentially they validate, yes, they encountered this group of people, maybe 140 people with a dozen or more minors, underaged, young people who are crossing illegally. They say, okay, these people came in, but they're not like fingerprinted, their names kept on a file, communicated with ICE. There's none of that. So what's the point? What are you guys doing down there?
Well, and first, Adrienne, the work the U.S. Border Patrol does, the men and women of the U.S. Border Patrol, is tremendous. They give it their all every day. They are discouraged because of what's transpired over the last 3.5, almost 4 years now, with the borders being open. And when I say that, it's just not more political rhetoric to throw at the American public. It's the truth. And I know I've told you before that, look, I got hired under President Clinton, and I worked from Clinton to Bush to Obama to Trump and a portion of this administration. And those first 4 administrations, both Democratic and Republican, all contributed to border security. They built fence, they put technology, and they added more manpower, because no matter how much technology or fence you have, if you don't have a man or a woman with the badge out there on the border to make those arrests, you're just going to be counting gotaways, a lot like what we've been doing the last 3.5 years.
Well, I was going to say, you're counting gotaways. The arrests, and people at home, listen, they literally arrest them because they say, okay, I'm surrendering, and that's the ones who aren't gotaways, and then release them. That's still happening every single day, no matter who is in the administration. So the former President Trump getting the endorsement of the union representing Border Patrol agents recently in Arizona, that's significant, is it not?
Oh, most certainly. And again, under his administration, there was a lot of focus on the border and the policies he's put in place, because he also saw some of what we've seen this last 3.5 years with people wanting to come to America to claim asylum. And we just can't take everybody in the world into the United States. And if we're going to even look at them, we have to make sure we know who's coming in. And that's what we haven't had this last 3.5 years. But what he did, the policies he had, was the Remain in Mexico, the Migrant Protection Protocol that kept people in Mexico until they had their asylum hearing. So most definitely the support of the U.S. Border Patrol should tell the American public something about the 2 different administrations.
Yeah, we're putting up their plans side by side on the screen here, or one by one. One quick question for you as we're out of time, Sheriff. Is a raise enough to get border agents to stay on the job, or is there something else that needs to be done to maintain morale?
Throwing money at the problem isn't the answer. And I can tell you that specifically for where I was the patrol agent charge, where I'm the sheriff, my hometown. Look, we're one of the most remote portions of the U.S.-Mexico border. We don't have a grocery store. We don't have medical care here. We have to travel an hour to 2 hours away to receive both of those. And we've had programs here in the past that have given incentives to Border Patrol agents. They love the work here, but it's not the easiest place to live, and I recognize that. So again, to your point, throwing more money at the problem won't always solve it.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.